What's up YouTube, Josh of All Trades here, and today I am talking about the Amazon original series Sneaky Pete Season 1. Now I just finished up this series actually a little while ago, maybe in the past few weeks, maybe last month, but in the recent past. I thought Sneaky Pete was really good, so I want to put out a recommendation video, and without spoiling it for you, I want to give you a few reasons why you should watch this show and at a high level explain what I personally liked about it. Of course, I'm going to be nitpicky. There's a couple things that I really didn't care for that much. And starting off, this show really has a two-edged sword in the form of the man himself, B to the R to the Y in Cranston. He is great on this show. And I forget if he was a producer, but he has some sort of creative role. You definitely see his influence in the storytelling, in the production, and the show as a sum of its parts. You can see Bryan Cranston's influence, and it's one of the things that makes it great. Now, on the flip side of that, I want you to imagine, I don't know if you're a car person, but I want you to imagine sitting at a cafe on a busy corner of the city, and you're sitting there, you're reading the paper, maybe you're drinking Americano, I don't know, and a Lamborghini comes right around driving real slow, and you look at every inch of this beautiful car and you take it all in. It's just so amazing. It makes your day. And while you're sitting there, a few cars go by and you notice a brand new Camaro SS drive by, and it's a beautiful car. You see the paint and you think, man, that Lamborghini was an awesome car. And that's what Sneaky Pete is suffering from. We see Bryan Cranston, and all you can think about is, man, Breaking Bad was a great show. And there's really no way getting around it. But I think we get some of the shine from Breaking Bad, and it makes Sneaky Pete look not as attractive as it really is. So part of the challenge of watching this show is that you really have to separate the two. And what makes that harder is that Sneaky Pete is a con man show. And at its essence, that's a tricky topic, because a con man is essentially a liar and a cheat and a thief. And if you stop and have a moment of realization, you're thinking clearly about who the protagonist for the show is, it's an unlikable person. You probably know someone like that guy and you hate him. And so the show has this challenge that you got to keep him within some sort of moral code. And so it puts limits on what the guy can do, whereas Breaking Bad had no limits. So there's definitely contrast between these two shows. And to get the most out of it, you got to really separate them. Keep Breaking Bad out of your mind, as hard as it is, and focus on Sneaky Pete. But that being said, that was the most challenging thing about watching this show, and it has a lot going for it. I gotta say, for me personally, Giovanni Ribisi came out of nowhere. I looked up his profile on IMDb, and I know he's been in some films and some shows before, but he's not a person that is super recognizable to me. But he killed it in this role. He did it really well. And when he smiles, he's got this thing with his eyes and his forehead that he looks so sincere that he's the perfect con man. If I was going to get conned, I hope it'd be by Giovanni Ribisi, because he killed it in this role and he does really well. He's got you rooting for him the whole time. Other thing that I liked about this show is that, as the trailer shows, I'm sure you know, he's a con man. His character name is Joseph Maripovich, and he takes over what was his cellmate in prison's life. His cellmate's named Pete, lives with a family, and he ends up conning them. All the while, he needs to raise money to get out of his own situation that he's in with the bad guy Bryan Cranston. And so each episode, the stakes get higher, slowly and consistently, and it makes the show very tense to watch, especially towards the end. It does it very smooth. It transitions into going from something kind of lighthearted, like Ocean's 11-ish, to something a little bit more serious at the end. And the show did that very well. The dialogue in Sneaky Pete was extremely well written. There's some very memorable lines from Bryan Cranston, but also from some of the minor characters later towards the end of the series that are surprisingly and refreshingly emotional. I got a little bit of moisture right here just for a second at the end of it, but it was in a refreshing way that I enjoyed. The season also starts out really good, in that the first two episodes are above average, both for Sneaky Pete as a series, but also just in TV in general. You see the first couple episodes and you think, man, this is really good. So when you get mid-season, you get to that kind of lull there's a couple boring episodes like all shows have. You really get through it because you have some hype going at this point. Also, I feel thematically, Sneaky Pete was very well done. There are some of these themes just staring you in the face, like the idea of a broken family. In the main plot of the show, you have some guy that's been separated from his family for like 20 years and he's coming back, reconnecting with them. But also in the subplots, you got stories about broken families or estranged family members, divorce, loss through death, things like that. And you're coping with loss and overcoming it throughout the entirety of the show. And not to get too reflective, but also the idea of the con is really cool, and it surprises you. Like, it sneaks up on you that there's some guy lying about his life and what he's doing, and he's got some sort of intent to mislead people. And it does that in a big way, in the way that Giovanni Ribisi's character is doing it, but also there's other characters that are conning people in smaller ways. You have people lying about their financial situation. You have people having affairs, but still wanting to look like the family man, or that they have some sort of morality. And those ideas really rub off on us as a viewer and puts us in like a reflective mode where we have to think about, in what small, subtle ways are we conning people? Maybe I have like, unpaid tickets and I want to look like a stand-up citizen, or maybe, I'm lying about some aspect, or even if I'm not lying, I'm just doing subtle things to manage my impression in a way that will slightly mislead other people or put me in an advantageous situation. And interestingly enough, this show, Sneaky Pete, makes you think about those type of things. So I had a lot of fun watching it. It's a little bit deeper than you think it's going to be, but it never makes you feel like it's work watching it. And that's why I like Sneaky Pete. So if you get the opportunity, I really recommend this show. You can stream all episodes on Amazon Prime now. If you've already watched it, go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of it. And I will see you guys later. Take care. Bye, y'all.